In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a global illumination effect, of course, by using just one Omni light, just one standard Omni light, and without needing to use the final gather of mental ray. Now, first, you need to make sure a few things. One of them, the render engine that you're using is mental ray. Second, make sure under indirect illumination, the final gather is off. Finally, also make sure you're not using any kind of exposure control. No exposure control. Once you make sure of all that, we're just gonna need to create one light. So if you go to creation panel lights, under standard, just get the Omni light and create one of those lights anywhere you want. The location of that light is actually not going to be really important. Could be outside, inside your house, up or down. The location is not important again. Once you got the light in, then go to modify panel, make sure under advanced effects using that light as an ambient light. Finally, go to mental ray light shader, enable it, and get from the maps the mental ray ambient reflective occlusion. If I render now, the render is actually going to be really bright. There is not much contrast yet on the edges of the geometries, but that's just because we need to change a few other values. Once you got the mental ray ambient reflective occlusion, just open the material editor and drag it into one of those slots and copy it as an instance. So any changes you do here will get updated over there. Finally, one value that we need to change over here to actually get that contrast or that ambient occlusion on the illumination is going to be this value, maximum distance. I'm going to change it to 6000 millimeters, 6 meters, so that way it's going to calculate shadows between objects with that distance away from each other. If I render again, you're going to start seeing some contrast and details on the edges of your geometry. And this is actually just with one light. We're not using any other lights on the scene. Also, you can see because we're not using final gather, the rendering is a lot faster. If you want to get more quality on your render, you're gonna need to increase that value samples. I'm gonna go from 16 to 64 and just render again. The render will take a little bit longer, but you can appreciate now that you're getting a little bit more quality yet less noise on your image. And the more samples you add, the more it's going to take your render to be done. Finally, if you want to get these shadows here, these ambient occlusion shadows, a little bit lighter, you're just going to need to change that value. That basically is the dark area of your shadows, and that there is going to be the bright area of your render. So if you want to take the render a little bit darker, you should change that value of white from white to something like gray. If you want to change the shadow color, you just change that value from black to like quite dark gray as well. So if I render now, let me just take this value down to 16, so it goes a little bit faster. I render again. You can see now this area here, it won't be so dark. And that's it.